So what's up everybody? For those not familiar, my name is Darren and I think this is my YouTube channel. First video, and it's gonna be short, so basically all I want to do is talk about what led me to actually doing YouTube at this point, and then what you can expect if you do decide to tune in. Well, first off, I'm gonna start by saying that I think anybody that knows me knows that I'm an introvert. So even the mere thought of doing this is like completely out of my comfort zone, and honestly a bit terrifying. However, it's something that I've been wanting to do before in the past, and I've kind of been putting it off, mostly out of fear, mostly not knowing how people will receive it, and 50% because I don't like the way my voice sounds on camera. So I've done things like this where I've pushed myself outside of my comfort zone before, and I've succeeded. And I think that's the only way you can grow is by, stepping outside of your comfort zone. So, deeper beyond, just the surface level of wanting to start a YouTube channel. When I think about my life and how I grew up, I've always been very interested and involved in arts, especially when it comes to expressing myself and how I feel and who I am. Again, being an introverted person, like I've never been a social butterfly. Like I've never been able to go up to people and just start conversations and be that person. So even in high school, I used to wear bow ties. In my sophomore year, I started wearing bow ties every day with my polo shirts, right? And what that did was it started conversations that I didn't really have the confidence to start, right? People would see me every day with bow ties. I'm like, oh, you the guy with the bow tie, right? So I've always had this relationship with creativity and how I use it to express myself throughout life. And I feel like this step was something that I've always thought would be a good thing to do. I've just kind of always talked myself out of it, and even beyond that, now that I've gotten to the point where I'm really serious about the businesses that I've started. So I have a jewelry brand and a clothing brand, right? So now that I'm getting to a point where I really want to put energy into those things, I'm realizing that if you don't have money to pay somebody to market your stuff, you kind of have to do it yourself, right? So this is also an avenue and a way for me to push my products and get, be able to sell my products and get my products to consumers. So while I do feel like my creativity is something that is sort of natural and I guess innate within me, I also attribute a lot of my creativity to my upbringing. There are a lot of aspects about myself that I want to talk about throughout my YouTube channel, and one of the most important to me is my Blackness. And there is this idea that is very embedded into the Black community that we take nothing and make something out of it. And I think that's a lot of creativity stems from that, right? So when you're given half the resources as your counterparts and you're still expected to produce the same amount of results, you're still expected to have a prosperous life, with being given half the resources that somebody else is given, you learn to be creative, right? Like growing up in the hood, when your mom can't get you the best toys, you learn to be creative. You figure out something fun to do right outside. Like being Black in this country, it creates, it builds creativity. And I think that's why you see a lot of, in spaces like music, and arts, Black people prevail and succeed so much. But also with that, I was definitely born into an entrepreneurial-minded family, from having an auntie who owned gas stations and restaurants and grocery stores, to my mom owning her own daycare, to my sister starting her business. Now, it's just something that's always been kind of ingrained in me, that need to create my own, right? And that's why, it does suck that I've waited this long to pursue being a content creator for the simple fact that I've always known that creating is essentially what I want to do, regardless of what. So most of my life has been trying to figure that out. I feel like I'm very capable of doing a lot of things in life, and I think that's also been a downfall of mine, because what do I choose, right? How do I express my creativity? And I think sitting on that question of what do I do has held me back for so long, because instead of just doing it, oh, should I do it this way? Should I do it that way? When most of the time, the best thing to do is to just do it. So I feel like most people has seen somebody or see somebody who is doing exactly what they want to do in life. And I know most of the time you look at those people knowing that you have just as much to offer, if not more, than those people who are in that position. However, that's where people get confused at, because while talent is important, while being the smartest is important, the fastest is important, sometimes it really boils down to who's brave enough to just do it, right? So that's why you see people who may have half the talent as you, but are 2 times ahead of you because they were brave enough to take that step. And that's where I am now, and that's where I want to be now, and that's the direction that I'm putting my life into, because I'm tired of watching other people live my dream. Basically, I know, I have a voice. I know I have a purpose. I know I have something to offer to the world, and I know it has value. And not living in that purpose for so long has, in a sense, started to take a toll. Like, for me, it's only so long I could be content with being successful by everybody else's standards. And even with that, within like the past 2 years, I've probably experienced, so much depression and just like mental struggles, because I know I want to do more, and I know I'm meant to do more. And the weight of not doing that can be heavy, especially when you really have a purpose. It's funny because I remember my pastor actually saying one time, and he had this sermon, and he was talking about how we become content in life, and how we build habits over, all of our life, and how at a certain point it becomes very hard to break habits that we've built for years and years. And he was just basically saying that sometimes it takes you to hate your life before you have enough motivation and willpower to change and break habits, especially when you've become very, very content in the way that you live. And it was easy for me to become content with, graduating college and getting jobs and making $75,000 to $85,000 a year. It was so easy to become content with that. But what I didn't realize is that I could only sustain that for so long, literally, because I've quit a lot of jobs. But it made me realize that there's only so long that I can be content before I started to hate my life. And so I was going out, I was living in New York, I was making good money, I had a nice apartment, but I was still unhappy. And that's the discomfort that I'm talking about, that you have to feel, that hate for where you presently are, regardless of how nice it may seem or how easy it may feel in the moments. If you know you have a purpose and you want to be greater than that, then that begins to weigh on you. So it's not simply about just believing in yourself. I mean, you have to believe in yourself enough to not become content when other people's ideas of what success is. We all have dreams, and a lot of times we talk ourselves out of our dreams because we think they're too big based on what society says a dream should be, right? But you will never reach your full potential. You will never be fully happy in life if you're always just content or happy with what somebody else's ideal of success is for you. I know who I want to be, I know what I want to be, and I truly don't feel like I will ever be happy until I'm doing exactly that. Not to get too deep, right? I want this channel to be fun. I want it to be entertaining. But mostly I do want to inspire people, right? I want to inspire people and I want to inspire myself, right? I have to speak my dreams into existence. I have to put them out into the universe. I have to convince people that I'm made for this, right? Like, even when I think about the Kanye West documentary.
Oh, motherfuckers always be talking about what I got. Oh, this nigga, he got this, he got that. But niggas don't even realize I ain't nowhere near. I might be living your American dream, but I'm nowhere near where my dream is, dog. I got aspirations. I got big dreams, man.
This man was in every studio session trying to rap for people. Mind you, he was already in that space, right? He was already working with these artists, and because he wasn't content with just being in that room. He wanted to be that artist, and he had a specific goal for his life. He didn't become content with other people's ideal of what they thought success was for him. I spent a lot of time questioning whether what I felt I should be doing and knew I should be doing was right. I spent a lot of time questioning myself. And I know that there are plenty of people out there who do the same exact thing. So I want this channel to help us out, right? Like, push us forward, push myself forward, because I know that, you know, my purpose isn't just about me being successful, right? My purpose involves helping other people be successful as well. So, tune in.